Welcome to the Somos Sunnyside podcast, brought to you by the Communications Department of the Sunnyside Unified School District. Thank you for tuning in while we share stories about the bright side of education.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Somos Sunnyside. That's right, we are Sunnyside, and today we got Desert View Jaguar football in the house. I mean, as you guys have probably kept up in the news, in the media, they had an amazing football season, and this community couldn't be prouder of them. We are super proud of the 11-1 season they had. I mean, that is the best record in school history. And today we got Coach Bonillas here in the house. We got quarterback, and I know everybody has fun with your last name, but I'm going to give it a good shot. We got quarterback Ryan Vasavilbaso. Did I say that right?
Yes, sir.
That's called execution, Ryan. And then we got none other than Jaylee Abraham and our phenomenal freshman here, Anthony Rodarte. So in the house. How are you guys?
Good, you?
Doing good. So you guys just had a pretty darn amazing season. And I know it didn't end the way you wanted it to end, because at the end of the day, everybody's going for that ship, right? That big trophy and those state championship rings. But you guys got to be proud of the way this season, played out. You weren't in that championship game, but you guys were a player or two away from moving forward. And so, I think, when you have winning football teams, it does something to your culture on your campus, right? I mean, I've been a principal, and I know when our teams were winning, it was the campus culture was just awesome. And so let's start with that. Talk a little bit about, like, as you guys started the season and it was 1-0, and then you won 2, and then people were saying, all right, they're for real, right? Like they're 4-0 now, they're 5-0. What was that like? What did campus feel like? And jump in.
For me, it was like, it felt great because everybody thought we were going to have a losing season.
Mm-hmm.
And then what we do is we're proving ourselves right and proving people wrong. So it felt great to me, and as a team, it felt great to us.
You had a little chip on your shoulder, huh? Proving them. I love that, and that's the, and I don't know if it's appropriate or not, but that's the dog mentality, right, that we talk about, right? And you got to have a little chip on your shoulder, because there's always going to be the haters out there, right? The people that just don't think you're going to do it. And so, Ryan, for you, being the senior on this team with the gray hair, what was it like for you?
It was great. I mean, we were proving ourselves right and everybody wrong, and then just showing the whole South Side that, we're the better team, and everybody should come to our games, come see some winning football. That was good.
That's awesome. So Coach, this question is for Coach Bonillas. Big congratulations to Coach Bonillas. As when people have successful seasons, the accolades come, right? The recognitions come, and Coach Bonillas was Arizona Republic Coach of the Year, and that's huge. And I think I saw the votes, and it was up in the thousands, like 40,000 or something like that. And all his players here are rolling their eyes, because they're giving Coach a hard time, but Coach, it's so well deserved. I mean, you've been in this for quite a while now, and you've had some seasons where they were not so successful, and that's hard, right? It's hard to bounce back from those things, but you've just kept at it, man. You've kept at it, and you've created this culture of work ethic, this culture of believing in yourselves, and it's super deserving. You finally had that year where it all clicked. So speaking of how it all clicked, when did you know, like, man, this is a special group. We got something here. When did that, hit you? And I know coaches think differently, so I want to hear it from Coach himself here.
First of all, I want to thank you on behalf of the whole program for having us today. As to answer the question, I think last year after the first half of our last game, and I told the boys, if we're not up to what we're supposed to be doing, we're going to put in some young kids. And these guys had already gone 9-0 at the freshman year. When I put them in the second half, I had told our kids during practice that week said, hey, we're not doing our job. We're going to put in the little guys. And I was referring to them as the little guys so that they can still think, hey, we're the older guys.
Right.
So,
And so their heads wouldn't swell, right? Because they had just gone 9-0 and they thought they were hot stuff, right?
so we're bringing through, and then halftime comes around and we're down 14-0. And all the coaches.
I think I know what game he's talking about. Was that the rivalry game, guys?
Yeah.
The Sunnyside game? Mm-hmm. All right. Just checking.
So all the coaches were like, hey, are we putting the little guys in? I said, well, what did I say? What have I been saying all week? So we put them in. So at the end of the day, the young guys helped the old guys, and the old guys brought along the young guys. It was a great team win. So I felt at that point we had something special. Going through the summer workouts, how everybody was committed, everybody showed up, everybody was working hard. They were competing against each other because as old guys, we kind of needed some of that. And as young kids, they were thinking, okay, is this it? Are we there yet? So it was a great summer of competition, and it was truly from then. I mean, but I'm not going to speak out loud and saying that because I don't want things to come back and, bite us.
Yeah.
But it's been a while. We're looking forward to more, obviously. We're looking forward to finishing our goal. Accomplishing our goal. We're looking to, even though we want to make a deeper run, like everybody, we're all in agreement of that. But it was a great season, great effort. I'm proud of the kids, proud of all the coaches. I'm proud of all the support from a lot of people. You mentioned all the accolades and everything, but it's a team effort. It wasn't just me, or it was just one of these guys. It was truly a team effort, and that's how we want to keep our program, so that we can continue the success and
Yeah, it takes a village, right? When you have successful programs, you got to definitely put in the work, and I know these guys work out year round. Programs cannot be successful without having a year round program. And I think you guys have heard that time and time again. And so, all the credit to you. Speaking about accolades, because I want to capture this, is, we this is the time of year where the season has just ended, the football season. And, they're starting to come out with accolades. And I know there's some that have already come out, and there's more to come. But I want to cover this piece because we have Jaylee Abraham here, the sophomore sensation. And that's right, he's just a sophomore. So, to all those football teams out there, he's back next year, the next couple of years. Putting you on the spot, Jaylee. And I know you'll perform. But, Jaylee was AIA Region Player of the Year. Did I get that right? Region Player of the Year. He is the Bijan Robinson Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl Player of the Year, and he's going to be going to that award assembly here shortly. He was all region, and that's just, we haven't even heard from the All-State and all these other, media outlets that cover, that have their first teams and second teams and all that. Ryan, I want to say her last name just because it's fun. Vasavilbaso, did I say it right?
Sure.
We're 2 for 2. He was all region player as well, and then he was also wasn't he also recognized as one of the top quarterbacks?
Yes, by BJ Media.
By BJ Media. There's another outlet there that's has an award assembly, and you were Player of the Year for that as well, right, Jaylee?
We'll find out today.
Oh, we'll find out tonight.
We'll find out tonight.
I'm sure you'll get it. And then we haven't heard from our freshmen here. You talked a little bit about this freshman team last year. You had a group of freshmen that were just amazing, went 9-0. These guys had never lost a high school football game till that last game. And Jaylee's like shaking his head over here, kicking himself in the butt a little bit, because as competitors, you always think, darn, that one more play, that one more hit, that one more catch, that one more throw, right? You guys experienced your first loss. Anthony here as a freshman, experienced his first loss, with an 11-1 season. So, tell us about your experience, Anthony, on the team. Anthony is also an all-region player, and I'm sure more accolades are going to come his way. He was newcomer of the year from one of the outlets, right? And from what I understand is you took an unofficial trip to University of Washington, right, during the playoffs there. So little stud here, man. So he's got a bright future. Tell us a little bit about your experience as a freshman, coming on, because it's not common that freshmen go straight to varsity, right? It's not common. And so when they do, it's an uphill climb, right? So tell us a bit about that.
It was nice to prove everybody wrong. We were projected to go 3-7 this year, just like last year. But we proved everybody wrong, and we established a winning season, and just hope to keep that going in the future.
So what are your big goals, man? What are your big goals?
To make it to state next year, hopefully win that, and make a deeper run in playoffs.
There we go. And so, I think, the other thing that's pretty amazing about this run is being a former coach. When they talk about sophomores on varsity, right? You had freshmen, you had sophomores. You had, I don't know, what did you have? 15 sophomores on varsity or something? Probably more.
Yeah, like 20.
They always say
23, I believe.
that's going to be the number of your losses. Back in the day, they say the number of sophomores you have on your team, that's going to be your number of losses. And you definitely didn't follow that suit, and you proved that these sophomores could play. They were playing at the appropriate level, right? And the neat thing about the whole thing is, man, they're all coming back. They're all coming back next year. And so, it was real neat to see just all the media coverage you guys got. I mean, it was well deserved, right? I mean, we always talk about how the South Side gets ignored, when it comes to recognitions, when it comes to, getting interviewed and highlighting the great stories that are happening here. And you guys made a community proud, right? You made a community proud. And so, I want you guys to really let that sink in a little bit about how impactful your season was, not only to you guys, but to the entire community. And so, we can't wait to see, what happens next year, and so, so when the season's over, Coach, what happens, man? I mean, you guys take a couple days off, get back in it, or do you give these guys, some Christmas time, or what happens here?
We actually took off 1 week, a week and a half. We're back in the room. These guys have to go to a award ceremony, and we have to get back to work. I'm gonna stay back due to the fact that we started already. So I don't wanna be missing, so that kids can get back on track and start working out.
Good. The other thing I want to talk a little bit about, and before I go there, we're going to go to a quick break, and then we'll be right back with Deja Vu Football here.
You will love SUSD. Don't believe us? Just watch. In Sunnyside Unified School District, students dream big, learn boldly, and grow confidently. From hands-on STEM and arts programs to student athletes earning athletic scholarships, Sunnyside District gives every student a place to shine. Enrollment for the 26-27 school year is now available. Enroll today at susd12.org.
All right, we're back. Again, Deja Vu Football, Jaguars in the house, celebrating their 11-1 season. Coach is probably like, cringing when I keep saying that, because he doesn't want these guys to be satisfied. There's unfinished business, right? Yeah. And the ultimate goal is to get into the ship there, right? And so I want to talk a little bit about, when you guys play well on the field, you start getting recognized. The other thing I wanted to talk a little bit about, and Coach, jump in, and if you need to interrupt me, is, I'm proud of our student athletes. I call you guys student athletes because you got to get it done in the classroom as well. And eligibility, from what I understand, didn't hurt you, in your season, because for the most part, your student athletes took care of business in the classroom, right? And so, that's so important, and it goes hand in hand with this recruiting process. You're not going to get looked at if you don't have the grades. You got to think of scholarships as these institutions. They're investing their money, right? They're saying, right, if I'm going to put my money on this guy, he better do well academically. He better be a good person, and he better perform on the field. So speaking of that, what does that look like for you guys? Like, you know, I'm sure you guys are getting calls. I'm sure you're getting recruited a little bit here and there. You know, schools are showing interest. So let's start with Ryan over here.
How that's going, like so far for like me personally, is that I'm looking at a couple schools that I've been communicating back and forth, and I'm gonna give it till January to see where I'm gonna land at for either the next year or two, so I can develop and transfer up.
Mm-hmm. So what can we talk about schools? What schools are showing some interest right now? I want the community to hear this, so these other schools hear it and they better step up to the table.
Okay. As far as like those couple like bigger schools like D2s, Western New Mexico and CSU Pueblo.
Okay.
Those both are good schools.
Oh, good. Good.
And then as far as like JUCOs, I'm going to be talking to Chafees here soon, and I think San Jose.
Nice. Well, good. Congratulations. And again, Ryan, I think you threw for what, over 2,500 yards this year? And
Yeah, 2,613.
there we go, to be exact. 2,613 yards. How many touchdowns did you throw for?
28.
Okay, I'm just checking. That's what I had too. 28, and had minimal interceptions. When you talk about over 12 games, you threw under 10 interceptions, from what I understand, and that's pretty darn good. Because I think when I played, I threw 10 interceptions in the first 5 games of my junior year, man. So it was rough, but senior year was good. And so let's go over here to Anthony. I mean, you're a freshman. It's not common for freshmen to get recruited, but you've had such a great season that I'm sure these colleges and universities are looking at, hey man, this guy's got potential. This guy can possibly be a D1 athlete. So talk to us about that. What schools are showing interest? What was your first call like? Did they call you? Did they mail you something? Tell us a little bit about that experience, and I want you to tell this experience because I want the young kids. When you guys were young kids, you want to hear this type of stuff, right? You guys are an inspiration to our lower grade levels, right? Our middle schools, our elementary kids. So tell us a little bit about that.
It was just that one school, Washington, we mentioned earlier. It was through
The Washington Huskies.
the
It's not just the one school; it's the University of Washington,
Yeah.
Anthony. It's a big deal.
Yeah, it was through a sports training program that I've been working with for the last few years, Just Sports Training.
Uh-huh.
It was through them, and
We're familiar with those guys.
yeah, we went on and visited up there on an unofficial visit, looked around the campus a little bit, went and watched the game, and that's it so far.
That's it so far. Well, that's a pretty big deal, So what went through your head when they first reached out and showed interest? Like what? And be honest, what did you tell yourself?
It's pretty cool,
Yeah.
pretty impressive,
Yeah,
and it's just nice that everything's starting to pay off.
man, I think I'd have been screaming all over my house if that, as a freshman, I'm getting that call. And so, Jaylee, your name's out there now. I mean, you're out there. I think people know you're the real deal. And what has that experience been like for you? Like, who are the schools that are reaching out? What did you go through? Emotionally, what was that first experience? Because I know your family. I know the Molinas, and I know they're all proud of you. They're great people, great family, and so I know they're super proud of you. So tell us a little bit about that.
So I got like my first D2 offer on Monday,
Okay.
and then yesterday morning at like 8:30, Georgia State called me, and I got my first official D1 offer.
Awesome.
And then that just felt great because it was with my teammates, and it was a call. And
So who called you? Is it the head coach that gave you a call?
Running back coach and receiver coach.
Running back coach, receiver coach?
Yes.
I say you demand the head coach to call you.
Yeah.
So you guys growing up, I kind of want to paint a picture for our listeners. Like, we all grow up playing backyard football. We all do the turkey bowl thing. We all, visualize ourselves, right, being successful, and boom, there's offers on the table now. Like, what was were you shaken up by that at all? What was your first reaction to that? Were you kind of like, just like, well, of course, I'm Jaylee Abraham?
Nah, my first reaction is just like, wow, my dream's actually coming true. Like, now I can actually go to a D1 school and take care of, like, do what I want to do without worrying about money and none of that. But it felt amazing, and then felt good because all the work's paying off, like Cam said. All the work pays off now. And now everybody can see it, and I can represent it. And then also, for my family, it felt amazing too, because it's a D1 offer, so they don't got to worry about college and none of that.
That's right. Well, the neat thing is it's not over yet, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's just the beginning. And you know, the hardest thing, I think, for athletes, you know, is to stay hungry, right?
Mm-hmm.
To stay at it, man. Stay in the grind, you know, because, you know, nothing's wrong with Georgia State, but it can be University of Georgia too, right? And these other D1 programs that are out there. And so, and you hit it on the nose. I mean, it's about, you know, getting your ticket paid, right? Getting your ticket paid for and getting your college tuition paid for and having a shot to earn a college degree, right? And that's what that changes generations, you know. And so Coach, you know, tell us a bit about, you know, because I think coaches go through this recruiting process too, right? I mean, coaches are reaching out to you as the head coach. They're asking, hey, what about this kid? What, you know, this player, is this guy got what it takes, and this and that. So when did these calls start coming in? What's that experience been like for you? Because, you know, it doesn't happen every year you got D1 athletes on your team. And that goes for all sports, right, in across the nation.
Right. The one thing that you brought up earlier, eligibility, I am proud of our group this year in the sense that I think we lost probably just 2 kids to eligibility, which that kind of so like 90% of our kids stayed eligible throughout the whole season, right? So I'm very proud of that part. But again, also of our staff, our teachers. I mean, our teachers, our coaches that help these kids get to tutoring and stuff like that. Because to get those calls, to get those offers, you need your grades anyway. Without the grades, we mentioned it's a student-athlete platform. So if they can't survive high school, you know, sometimes I tell coaches, hey, he's a great kid, but he can't survive high school, so how are you going to help him, right? That's not the first call that I answered this year to see. I'm not worried if they can survive college. They have a good work ethic in the weight room, on the field, with their studies, that they can go ahead and perform now. So it actually feels good to talk to coaches in the sense that we have a product that they can go out there and they can survive college, one, and then they can play at a high level. So I'm super excited for more calls, hopefully, to come about. And we want to get our first kid out there. So,
all right. So, you know, as Coach said, you know, he's getting these calls, and you know, for our listeners out there, you know, these coaches at the college level, they're asking about the character of these kids. Are they good students?
Are they the most competitive out there?
Yeah. Do they have a work ethic? Are they winners? Right?
Are they coachable?
Are they coachable? They got a little bit of dog in them, right?
Yeah.
And so you know, speaking of little dog in them, I mean, Jaylee, and I haven't even mentioned this. I think you had over 30 touchdowns this year.
I had 40.
40?
Touchdowns.
Excuse me, sorry. Check that. He had 40 touchdowns. And what did you end up? You had over 2,500 yards rushing.
No, I had 16 rushing, and then all-purpose, 2,000 and something all-purpose.
All-purpose. Okay, so you had about 17 rushing, and then all-purpose over 2,000.
2,000.
Wow, that's a pretty darn amazing season. I don't think I had 40 touchdowns in my life playing. So, you know.
Not even in the Turkey Bowl?
Not even in the Turkey Bowl, you know. Not even in Tecmo Bowl, for that matter. These kids probably don't even know what Tecmo Bowl is. It was the Madden version when we were kids, guys. It was the Madden version.
With a triple option.
Right. And so, so Jaylee, you know, growing up, I mean, you're one of the top players, you know, across the state, and I'm not sure if rankings are out there yet, you know, in terms of, you know, across the nation, but I know you'll be in that discussion. Who did you grow up idolizing? I mean, we all have these people we grow up and say, I want to be like that guy. I like this guy's work ethic or that guy's work ethic.
Like Bijan Robinson, cause like he was close to my family. My dad knew his grandfather, so Bijan Robinson, I looked up to him, and then from there he helped me. He gave me ideas and just said, "Be great, be a good kid, and stay focused." And then God will bless you with what God does.
And that guy's been just such an example. Tucson product. University of Texas, playing with the Atlanta Falcons. And it's just, one of the top running backs in the NFL right now. And he's, I think what
Great
people
kid.
are most impressive
Great kid.
about is he's a great person.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great human being, right? And that speaks volumes. And so how does it feel? Did you get? I'm confused with all the awards you have, man. All these Players of the Year awards. Did you get the Bijan Robinson Award already?
Yes, I got that one for
Nice.
sure.
So you got the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl Bijan Robinson Player of the Year. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And it'll be
December
He'll
26th.
have they'll present him the trophy at the bowl game.
Oh, nice. And that bowl game is here at University of Arizona Stadium, right?
Yes, sir.
Or
27.
Casino
Yeah,
del
Casino
Sol
del
Stadium.
Sol.
Let's get that right.
And
Do we know if he will be here? Bijan?
I'm not sure.
No? Do you have communication with him?
Yeah, I do.
Can I have his phone number? I'm kidding. So we got to get Bijan to do a little bit of a donation in Desert View football here. So Bijan, if you're listening out there, man, we'd love to have you on the podcast with Jaylee when he wins a state championship next year. So one thing, you guys got bright futures, and I think you guys speak very well in terms of, you got your heads screwed on right. This is, sports will open doors for you. I think sometimes people don't realize the skill sets you learn from sports, right? You learn discipline, you learn hard work, you learn how to be a team player, and my question to you guys is this. I wish football works out for you, right? I wish football works out for you and you reach the highest level, whether that's college goal, whether that's the NFL. And if you make it to the NFL, you better not forget me. I want tickets, all right? Like, I want box seats. And you better get them to me before you're Theo Basil. Okay, so I coached Basil in high school.
Oh,
Yeah, you're Theo. So I run into him at every now and then, but those tickets better come to me first. I want to ask you guys this. What are your, what do you aspire to do besides football? Because we have to always have backup plans, right? And I admire those people that say, well, no, I never had a backup plan. It was going to be football or this professional sport from the get-go, and it worked out. So what is your guys' and jump in, anybody. What is your
My education plan is to do something with sports. Like, it could be health with sports or business with sports or something with business after the NFL, hopefully.
I'm gonna get hired by Bobby the Jet, huh? Take over his
Listen,
business.
Bobby the Jet.
Yeah, that's my goal.
Okay,
like,
so you want to work with sports?
yeah, sports, because I love the sport and I don't want to get away from the sport. So I'll do anything to help the sport and help younger kids, because younger kids already look up to me and these guys.
Yeah.
So I want to give back to my community and create something in Tucson that could be big after this.
Sounds good. I like plans.
My plan B.
I want to call you Sunshine. Have you ever seen what's the movie?
Bro.
You call him Sunshine?
He called me Sunshine too.
Oh,
I
see?
call him Sunshine.
What's the Remember the Titans, right? Sunshine. He's got like these locks, beautiful hair, man.
That's why we call him.
I want to mess up his hair, man, but he might get mad at me. So Ryan, what are your plans besides keeping the long hair?
My plan B, because I don't really want to stray away from plan A, but my plan B is go to school for philosophy so I can start my law career, and I'm gonna be a lawyer if football don't work out.
That's awesome. That's a great plan. We all need a good lawyer. So, and Anthony,
Somebody write checks.
I haven't thought about it much yet.
well, you better start thinking about it, Anthony.
But it's just
Guys, get on it.
the one thing I'm focusing on is just making sure I get my education at the next level, and hopefully football can help me do that.
Well, that's a good start. That's a good plan. As we wrap up here, again, I know we've been joking around here and really talking about your guys' experiences, and we, again, as a community, on behalf of the Sunnyside District, we are super proud of the phenomenal year you guys have had, in terms of football. Coach has done an outstanding job with you guys, him and his coaching staff, and I know your administration and your school and your teachers are behind you guys, and so, we wish you guys the best next year. The sky's the limit, and so, Ryan, we know you're graduating, in May.
Yeah.
And so, we're going to definitely wish you the best too as you move on, and somebody's going to have big shoes to fill, right?
Yeah.
And nice hair to fill, right? So, I don't know, that next quarterback better have good hair like you, man, because I think that was part of the secret. So, what last thoughts do you guys have? Any shout outs to anybody out there? Any we always have, I always bring this up in a lot of our episodes here. We talk about who was that person that motivated you? Who was that person that helped shape your life, change your life, help you reach success? So you can talk a little about that, or you can just give a shout out to anybody you want out there. You may need like 2 more points to get an A in chemistry or something, and you might want to do a shout out there or something. But I'll leave it up to you guys. No, you're going last. We're going to start with the freshman here.
I want to shout out my family, my parents, my dad. Pushes me to get better, to better myself, and that's mostly in my family.
So what kind of bike does your dad have? I know you guys like the Harleys, man.
He has a 2020 Street Glide, I want to say.
Nice. I can't afford one of those. Mine's a 2013 Street Glide. Ryan.
I wouldn't say like much shout out, but I say like things and people I'm grateful for. So like I'm grateful that my parents and my whole family just pushed me to keep going, because there's certain times I wanted to give up, but they pushed me, and here I am looking for an aspiring football future. My siblings, my brother and my sisters, they never stopped believing in me, even when it was really murky at the beginning. To all my coaches, Coach Bo especially, for giving me opportunity when I transferred in to just have a chance in the field to go play. And I'm grateful that God allowed me to be where I am today.
Well said. Spoken like a true senior, right?
Yeah.
And we'll end with Jaylee here. And Jaylee's sporting a U of A shirt, man. Are you telling us something? Or, is that? It says
No,
there's
we had
on
a
the
trip
football.
But they are showing interest.
Uh-huh.
So hopefully soon you'll see an offer from them.
That's right. Coach Brennan, you hear that? All right.
But
I'll make sure Coach Brandon listens to this podcast.
All right.
I like to be thankful for my family, because without them there won't be no Jaylee. Like my mom, my dad, and like all my family, because they support me on my ups and downs. Like I had a major injury, they supported me through that, and then all the people that support us support me, my teammates, and our community, because our community helped us a lot this year. Because football, sponsors, and all that. Yeah, I like to support all them. And I like to say thank you to all them that showed us love, showed Desiree love, and just showed me love. So thank you guys.
All right. You guys are all so well spoken, and you can tell you guys got big hearts. The first thing you do is your, all of you guys thanking your families. I think to the parents out there, and I know you guys are going to make your parents probably a little emotional when they hear this, because, it starts at home, right? It always starts at home. And it starts with those that raise you, whether those are your parents, whether your grandparents, uncles, aunts, and sometimes it's everyone, right? And it starts having that strong foundation that make you guys, good people and strong people. And so you guys have bright futures. And what I want to say to you is that you guys can accomplish anything you want. You really can. And you guys have proved it this year. You proved a bunch of people wrong, right? You proved, people were out there saying you're going to be 3-7, that guys weren't going to be successful. And when you put your mind and you put the work in and you make good decisions, good things happen. And so we'll leave the last words to Coach Bo here. So what season is this for you, Coach?
That was my 14th year here at Desiree.
14th year.
14th, and then I spent 6. Like my daughter said, 6-7.
Yeah,
Sunnyside with Coach Sanchez, right? Shout out to Michael Mountain. There's a lot of coaches on that coaching staff that we've been throughout the years. Grateful for friendship per se. Coach Sanchez is part of that staff, so congratulations to them on a 4A championship. With our goals next year is I want to make sure that these guys, I tell them to be good sons every day, and I tell them to be good teammates. So I hope that they're also thankful for their teammates. It's a group effort at the end of the day. For us as coaches, I want to thank all our coaching staff. I want to thank our administration and our faculty. I don't get to do this often, but thanks to you as our superintendent for leading the ship over here, and our board members for coming out to the games. It was great to see a community support because I saw people that I hadn't seen in a while, but it's great that they came out to support our kids and our program, right? I want to thank all our families. I want to thank my family for supporting everything that we've done throughout the years. I'm looking forward to next year. We're all looking forward to. So we just ask God to keep us in mind and make sure we stay healthy.
All right. Well, hopefully next year we're having a conversation about being the state champions, right? 2026 state champs. Does that sound pretty good?
Yep.
Yeah. So hopefully next year we're having that podcast, and maybe we'll go live from ASU Stadium and have that podcast, and you guys had once again such a phenomenal year, and the future's bright, and as I said earlier, the sky's the limit, and we can't wait until next football season and see what you bring and see what's accomplished. And so with that, I want to thank you guys for coming on the show. I want to wish you guys a happy holidays, and we're gonna look out for Jaylee at the Arizona Snoop Bowl or Snoop Dogg Bowl. As he gets his award, right? And so, that wraps up this episode of Somos Sunnyside. Hasta la próxima. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Somos Sunnyside. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and found it entertaining. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to subscribe and share our podcast with la comunidad. For updates on future episodes and more, be sure to follow us on social media and visit our website at susd12.org. We appreciate your support and can't wait to have you back for the next episode. Hasta la próxima vez en Somos Sunnyside.